What is up? What is up, y'all? It is your girl D, aka the Wellness Plug, and I am back with another wellness video. Today is more along the lines of personal development and in that capsule of trying to create the life that you want when you are not there yet. So that's kind of the category that we're in today. But the real topic, the tea of the day, honey, is the undo list. Okay, so the undo list is something that I have recently adopted in the last 2 years, and I make a new one every year. The reason that I have an undo list is it pushes me to really focus on not only the things that I want to do, but the things that are holding me back from doing them. I'm gonna break it down for you real quick and just kind of explain how that process works and why it's a good thing to do and why it's important to make a new one every year. Let's get into it. Okay, so first and foremost, you're probably wondering girl, what? An undo list? I have so many to-do lists that why would I want another list of things that I'm not doing? Well, girl, I'm about to tell you. An undo list is essentially tasks, behaviors, tendencies, habits that you have developed either while in survival mode or from your environment, your past environments, your past lives. It's stuff that essentially is now hindering you from being the person that you need to be to grow, or that you want to be to do the things that you want to do. So your undo list is essentially a list of things that you want to unlearn so that you make space to become the person that you want to be. How do you start an undo list? You simply tell yourself, this is the life that I want, this is who I want to be, this is what I want to do, and you analyze your data. You decide, okay, these are feelings that I don't want to carry anymore, or I don't have to carry anymore. Maybe I'm not in the same situation. I look at the data and say, these are items that constantly don't get completed. If you follow me and you know me, you know that's called the big fat ugly list, right? It's tasks that are very daunting, time consuming, or that I find just personally difficult to complete for whatever reason. Maybe I procrastinate to do them because they're so heavy, they're big, they're fat, or they're ugly. That's why it's called the BFU list, right? Sometimes it's just why aren't those things getting done? Especially if I know that those things are things that I have to get done as an adult, things that I know will make my life easier, things that I know will be better for me, but they're just so intense or they're so big to think about that it just makes me go, ugh. Or maybe I don't know when I'm gonna fit the time in. I don't know. But the big fat ugly list is a huge part of creating my undo list, because it's why you can't just do it. So we'll come back to that. But it's also emotions that you choose not to carry. Habits that you picked up in survival mode that you realize yo, I'm not even in that situation anymore. I guess I don't have to be this way. And honestly, it's really cool to do an undo list too when you're making huge life transitions. Now I'm a wife. Not only am I a mother, I am a wife. And that even I may have moved in a certain way towards my husband because we've been together and physically in the same space. We've lived together for a while. But being a real wife, it's a sanctified union. It's legal. There's a certificate. There's a covenant. I have to step my game up and really honor what I said I wanted to be and what that looks like to me. And just like when I became a mom, it requires different things of me. So even in life transitions, if it's a new job, a new business venture, a new family, a new trip, some sort of life change, a transition, typically requires you to unlearn some behavior. Okay, so you look at who you want to be, what you want to do, you take stock of how far you are from that, and you look at the root of how we got here, why we feel this way, and understand who you were and who you are and where the gap is, right? And in a sense, the undo list helps you bridge the gap. So you look at these transitions, you look at these goals, you look at these feelings and the people and the person that you want to be and how you want to show up to the world. And then you decide, what is keeping me from being this person? Do I tend to make everything a big deal? Do I tend to feel like I'm being left out? Do I feel, anxiety when I do certain things? Am I participating in activities that don't align with what I'm trying to do? It's taking a look at all of these things and deciding, okay, what stays and what goes, right? And that's it. It doesn't have to be a big, fat, ugly task to make your undo list. Don't make it one. You simply just decide that you deserve better, you want to be better, and there's more out there for you, and you need to take claim of your part in why you aren't living that life of abundance that you want. And then, that's essentially what the undo list is. It's the resolution to what's keeping you. I have my undo list right here, and I'm just going to read it to you step by step and kind of explain to you where it comes from. Okay. So for 2026, my undo list, number 1, is I am going to stop saying can't and putting limitations on myself. I used to teach dance classes for ages 2 through 11. And one of my pet peeves in dance class was, you are not allowed to say can't. And actually, I applied it to the high schoolers too, like as a coach, like just me as an instructor teaching these young minds in general. I'm like, you are not allowed to say the word can't in my presence. You shouldn't say it at all, because it's a lie. It's a lie. While you may not be able to do it right now, saying can't is such a definitive, generic umbrella term that locks you into disability. And it's like it has a period and that's it. There's no I'm trying, but this is difficult. Okay, that's fine. I need to work on this more. For some reason, I'm not getting an essential step. Really break down. Instead of saying I can't, decide what needs to change. And I found myself saying it a lot when I had my son. And I was so frustrated by the limitations that motherhood put on the person that I used to be. Because the person I used to be wanted to do what she wanted to do, when she wanted to do it, and how she wanted to do it. And in motherhood, that is not real. That is not a reality. And it is not my son's fault that I can't do what I want to do when I want to do it and how I want to do it, because he didn't ask to be here. So I had to really check myself on oh my gosh, I can't get out the house. I can't do this and I can't do that. I can't even record a video. Girl, 1, calm down. Number 2, yes, you can. You need to find a different way to do it. And 3, accept the fact that it's not going to look how you wanted it to look in your head. That is why I just personally, I can't, I don't want to continue to put limited language on myself. So get rid of the word can't. If this video is in any way scattered or doesn't make sense, I apologize. My son is literally busting in the room every time I record, which was a whole problem for me back in the day. Which is why it hindered me from being able to produce content so quickly and consistently, because my house is never fully quiet. I don't even know if y'all can hear Shrek playing in the background, but it is. And he keeps coming in the room because he's curious about this setup between the ring light and the phone. So now he's bringing me a bowl of oatmeal. What, sweetie? Are you all done? Hello?
Dada.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye, sweetie. Go watch Shrek. Okay, so number 2 on my undo list for 2026 is to stop doing things that I don't want to do. And that doesn't mean, in a adulting kind of way, because I don't want to do that stuff either, right? But it's the stuff between adulting and parenting and wifing, and when I'm in free time. Oh, moms hate that word, right? Or that phrase. But when I have time to do other things that are not my obligations, I am no longer going to do things that I feel like I have to do or show up in ways that I don't have for people, for things, for an old lifestyle. There's just a bunch of stuff that I'm realizing no longer fits me. And it's not even because I feel like, oh, wives don't do this. Some of it is. Some of it is moms don't do this. But a lot of it is like, I don't want to do that anymore. Or like, okay, a good example is like the club, right? That's a really easy, good example. I am 33, going on 34 years old. And I have been outside since I was 21. That is a good decade of going outside and being in the club and drinking and partying, and like the environment that it breeds is not something that I want to be a part of anymore, right? So clubbing is like not my scene anymore. I'd much rather go to brunch for that kind of feeling, like to go out, be cute, and let me make sure I got some food, because I'm hangry, y'all, and it got worse with pregnancy and postpartum. Like, it's just I need my food, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So and then maybe if it's like a nice patio or rooftop setting, like that's a vibe. I can get with this, okay? But like, that's an example of something that no longer serves me. So that would have been on my undo list a long time ago. Like, the club scene is not it for me. And so when people invite me to club-like spaces, I'm like, can we go to brunch instead? Like me and you, and then if I feel like I'm being pressured to do something that I don't want to do. I was really good at people pleasing in a past life. And I used to not want to disappoint people or make people feel like I didn't care. And I feel like my real friends know that that's not the case. So I don't have to put on that mask with them anymore. And the people that don't understand, I can either allow them a conversation to understand, or I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that I'm being misunderstood. So I'm like, it comes from the root of realizing that I was putting myself in spaces when I didn't have the mental capacity, the emotional capacity to be there for my friends, or just like maybe I just am not capable of fulfilling what that person needs in that moment. And I was always trying to solve problems. I made myself responsible for other people's feelings a lot, and it caused me to put my mental and emotional health secondary. So it's not really a moment of I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not doing it. It's deeper than that. I personally don't feel like this is how I want to use my time for myself. I want to use this time to read. I want to use this time to maybe spend some extra intimate time with my partner. Maybe we can work out a kid-free date. I'm going to do that as much as I can. Maybe I want to spend time in a bubble bath. Maybe I need a softer space. I don't know, y'all. I'm trying to like give you some personal examples, but I'm also trying to keep it generic. So if I'm stumbling, I hope you get what I'm saying, okay? But like, I'm really just being honest about what I really want to do and what I don't, and why I don't want to do it, and hoping that people that love me understand. And if they don't, being okay with being misunderstood, because that has been a thing for me. All right, let's backtrack to the big fat ugly tasks. Number 3 is making everything a big fat ugly task. I am a deep procrastinator, and while that may have served me really well back in like high school and college, like I just thrived under the deadline. Like, all right, bust it out, give it your best, give it quality. I was really good at that, okay? It never had a terrible consequence on it, because I was really good at gauging whether or not I could do that. I was really good at saying like, nah, this is a research paper and I have to like, and that's where I get into my organized bag and I make like project planners. So the remedy to a big fat ugly task is a project planner. It breaks down the deadline and it breaks down all the steps, and it makes it into a more digestible to-do list. For instance, let's say, okay, I live in St. Louis, y'all. Getting our tags renewed is a whole big fat ugly task, because it's just like, why? You know why those don't get done? Because we pay personal property taxes. So it's a step deeper than just walking into the office and getting a renewal. It's making sure you have proper insurance. It's making sure that all of your details are in a row, your license isn't expired, which those are like regular adult tasks. But then on top of that, we pay like this insane amount in personal property taxes. And it's like, okay, if I ain't got it right now, then I'm sitting here riding dirty for a minute. Guilty. Done it for like most of my adult life. But it's simply breaking down like, okay, I know personal property taxes are due here. Let me make sure I set aside this much each month. It's getting that out of the way. And then on top of that, saying, okay, now let me make sure everything is right with my insurance, because sometimes it's easy to just not realize your license is expired or realize that your insurance is expired. So make sure you set up the apps, the reminders, all the things. Then on top of all of that, then it's going to the office and making sure you do have everything. So I would break that down. If that's something that's difficult for you, I would break that down into a project planner and say, okay, cool. So that's the remedy to a big fat ugly task. My problem is sometimes I just get in these funks, like these moods of like, why is America like this? Why is life so hard? Why do I have to worry about this? I'm an artist. I'm a creator. I want to paint. I want to bedazzle. I want to dance. I want to go outside and look at nature. Like, oh, I hate this train. But like, I don't want to feel like everything is such a task. And I found myself like doing that. I was making everything a big fat ugly task to the point where I didn't want to do anything, and I'm low-key depressed. Just being real. And I was looking at it like, girl, just fold the laundry. Just do it. Like, if you are able-bodied, it's almost like a gratitude check with myself too. Like, girl, you are able. Do it. You are able. And once you keep saying it over and over, it low-key becomes an affirmation. And I know I talked on a previous episode of Healing Out Loud about how words hold weight. A lot of this is how I talk to myself, okay? Like saying I can't. This is another one. This is me saying like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like doing this. Okay, but you are able. And I have on my 2025 vision board, there was a quote that said, if you're tired, do it tired, because that's usually an excuse we give ourselves to not do things that we know we need to do, like working out. Okay, you can work out tired. You can admit you're tired while you're working out. Again, it comes to accepting the fact that things are not going to look how you thought they were going to look, and just getting them done for the sake of being accomplished in your tasks. So if you know it's gonna serve you, if you know you're gonna feel good about it later, like, girl, just do it. And then once I keep saying I'm able, I'm like, yeah, girl, you are able, okay? Say, I can do it.
Okay,
I know that's right. Okay, so the last two are actually, I feel like they're like sublets of things that I've already said, but I'm gonna say them anyway. So number 4 is to stop waiting for things to be perfect to get them done. And I think that's been holding me back too on things that are on my big fat ugly list or goals that I haven't accomplished. You know, it's me saying I can't, I'm limited, this is hard, this is difficult, this is time consuming. And it's literally me beating down getting stuff done. Oh, the enemy, psychological warfare. We talked about that too. But like, I have this problem with saying like, and you know, the developments in social media and the internet does not help, but we have the ability to push past that mental barrier of things have to be perfect. You know, at one point, TikTok was on this thing of encouraging people to just post in their random selves so that they could be seen. And while that might push the TikTok agenda as well, but it opens up people to understand that, hey, this is a no judgment zone. We want to see real people talking about real life things. And if I keep pretending that I'm not a mom, because this dude literally has come in between every single part of this video, he's come in several times, he's standing right here. If I keep letting the fact that I'm a mom hinder me, it's gonna make me resentful of being a mom, and I'm not. And in the grand context of life, this video, as long as you understand what I'm telling you, him interrupting it does not matter. And I'm not going to continue to pretend like these are not my circumstances for the sake of making the video look more bougie or professional or whatever it is, whatever aesthetic I'm trying to do, right? So that's been like a huge part of it, is like waiting for things to be perfect. If I keep letting my circumstances define my ability to get goals done, I'm never gonna get them done. I was designing my planner when he was a baby, and I just like did not finish it because I was like, this aesthetic does not match. But I'm glad that I started it because I had a good skeleton to move forward from. And then I said, you know what, girl, make the planner. And I did it. And I sold out my inventory, and I'm at a place now where my marketing and advertising is now working for me for the future. So while the numbers didn't look super high, they were quality because everybody that invested in me in my planner is super happy with the way life is going, and I solved people's problems. That is essentially what I wanted to do with the planner in the first place. So if it starts off with 25 copies, cool. Hopefully the way that I execute for 2027's planner will serve me to maybe double the number, but I will not know unless I do it. So I say this because I know there's several people that struggle with this. We have to stop waiting for things to be perfect to get them done. And that's a huge part of my undo list. And it's funny that I'm talking about this right now while this is happening, because I feel like this is a test. This is a test to see if I can actually get this video done while my son is being him and not getting angry about, how it comes out. So that's number 4. All right, so the last thing that's on my undo list. Hold on, sorry. The last thing that is on my undo list for 2026 is to take my mask off. So I'm going to stop closing myself off to people and start letting myself be seen in a more vulnerable sense. And I'm really part of this was because of a conversation that I had with my big sister. She is almost a licensed therapist, but she has been my unofficial therapist. She's in social work, so it's definitely still a professional glance, but now she's taking the steps to now be an official big dog and help other people with their issues besides just me. So we were having a conversation about the person that I have shown people that I am and the person that people are used to me being. And my sister-in-law had called me out on closing myself off because I was kind of like shutting down, essentially. And while she can understand that there's certain environments and certain situations that I choose not to be in for my mental health, she's also like, that I can tell that you're hardening yourself and becoming resentful in the process. And I was like, girl, why do you see me? And I start bawling the minute she's talking, because I'm just like, I didn't have to tell you that, and you like called it out. And that's how you know somebody really sees you. Same way with my best friend. There was a slight pregnancy scare. It wasn't really a scare, but there was a little moment where we were a little unsure recently, and that would be baby number 2, y'all. And we know I just got my body bag, so I'm just kind of like, I'm like half in, half out on whether or not that was good news or not. But I told her that the test was negative, and I was kind of sad about it. And she peeped that. And I finally said it out loud. I was like, I was a little sad that the test was negative. And she said, oh, I heard that in your voice, girl. I could tell. And I was just like, it's really cool sometimes to be seen by people without having to make myself be seen. But when I was talking to my big sister in our little therapy session, we were talking about this mask that I had put on for so long of pretending that I am okay when I am not. And I know that I've talked about the abusive relationship that I was in, my experience with domestic violence, and how I literally shielded myself from people understanding what was going on. That was a form of protection for him. That was a form of protection for me, like from judgment. And it did not allow people to see what could have been warning signs to maybe even try to ask me if I needed help, instead of me having to take the step of admitting and saying like, I'm in this and I need help. The other time that this happened, we were discussing my postpartum experience. I was really irritated and resentful that people were not receptive to the fact that I just had a baby and I might be losing my mind. And even in our postpartum uncut podcast, like we're going to talk about that on the first episode through season 4, right? Is looking back at our experience and like, now that we're 2 years in versus 2 months in, how we view that experience. And I know for a fact that I was wearing a mask. I was pretending I was okay. And it wasn't necessarily that like, oh, I had postpartum depression and I was hiding it. It's not that. It was actually a lot of postpartum anxiety that I thought I was vocalizing, but I don't think I was truly telling people the severity of how I felt, because I was scared that it was intense for me. And I didn't really know how to put them into words that weren't like full of anxiety, but I was also like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with people seeing that you're spiraling? What's wrong with people, seeing that you're struggling? And because my big sister is also a new mom, she related to this, and it was like, we both agreed part of that is this mom guilt of thinking if we admit to people out loud that we're struggling, that it means that we're not a good mom. And it means that we can't do this, or we're not equipped to be this person's mom, this baby's mom. And that's not true. That is not true. And part of this is something I really talked about very openly was hormones, because I did feel like my hormonal levels and changes were causing me to feel out of control. But the part of feeling out of control was the part that I would hide, because not having control is scary, and is scary to a person like me. But it was me not admitting to people that I was struggling with this huge transition of being at home, sitting in my feelings that I had not sat in a while. It was really a very intense, it was intense. It was an intense time. I was going through so many changes all at once. And then on top of that, you threw in the baby, right? Like, it's stay-at-home mom from being a working, hustling kind of boss chick. And then being at home with this newborn that is fully my responsibility, relies on me. At the time I was breastfeeding, and breastfeeding almost took me out, y'all. Like, so I felt this pressure to like be normal again, and I couldn't admit that I wasn't ready. And that's a pattern, honestly, because that was exactly what happened when I left the abusive relationship a while ago. It was like I was back outside, and while I thought my little devotional every morning and praying was like enough, like I really needed to sit. I should have found a therapist. I should have sat down. I should have not been in the club. I shouldn't have hopped into the dating scene immediately. Like, if I could have done things differently, I would have. And a lot of that was me being used to wearing a mask. And I am taking the mask off. Mask off. I'm so done. But like, yeah, it's me deciding that I am enough. I have been validated. I don't need other people's approval or understanding to operate. And I'm done pretending that I do. So I am practicing being more vulnerable in my honesty. I've always been known for being very honest with my friends, but it's like clearly not honest enough, not as vulnerable as I need to be, especially if I'm trying to be understood, especially if I want to be seen. So if I want to be seen, if you're trying to be seen, if you want to feel understood, you have to be vulnerable. And that is why that is a whole separate space on my undo list, for lack of less words. So that is my undo list for 2026. I would love if you guys could drop some bombs below of your undo list. What are some of the things that you want to undo so that you can be your best self and show up as the person that you are trying to be in this life? Let me know. I'm interested. Let's make a conversation of it. In the meantime, I will try to be as consistent as I can with more wellness education and tips. I am trying to get this stretch situation figured out. I really want to know what I need to do to serve you guys for this channel. So again, comment, leave comments, create conversation, like and subscribe, and I will see you for the next video. Bye, y'all.